franchise, the franchise, full title. D-Train, the D-Train also. I don't know, I'm cutting out those tonight, ladies and gents. Daniel Ehrenberg here, on the ones and the twos. I have notes, I have a seltzer, and I've got Henry on the line. Let's hear him.
I am indeed on the line. Thank you for taking my call. It is episode 200, and that's right, half fire 69. It is Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and Mad Max Fury Road. And I don't know why I said that in a kind of a Baltimore Long O Marabise town.
That doesn't sound like, that sounds way more like surfer guy.
Road is a Pennsylvania thing. It's a Baltimore thing. It's I'm done. Anyway, welcome everybody. It's great to have you back. It's been a while. It's been at least 7 days. It's a good. We're gonna get right on the horse.
It's a good episode. That's what he said.
Yeah. I'm judging it already.
Yeah.
I can tell into the future.
All right, so we're gonna slog through one more Mel Gibson movie, and then we're gonna talk about something watchable. So first, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the third in the Mad Max franchise, came to us in the year 1985 from director George Miller and co-director George Ogilvy, the only Mad Max movie with a co-director.
Yeah.
The reason for that was, George Ogilvy is basically just like a Australian hack, like he works on TV or whatever, and Miller just needed some help with this baby. His buddy Byron Kennedy, he died in a helicopter crash while doing location work in pre-production on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and Miller was sort of left to decide what to do. Ultimately, he thought that it would be better to make the movie and that it might be a distraction for him. But in retrospective interviews, he says he basically has no memory of making this movie because he was in such mourning.
Wow, I didn't read that. Interesting.
Yeah, I think Ogilvy probably took the day-to-day reins while George was, crying behind the scenes.
Right. Having a Fulstus a few.
Yeah. He co-wrote it again with Terry Hayes from the last movie, the dude who went on to write fucking Dead Calm and shit.
Right.
And then this movie came out in America, as well as everywhere else, July 10th, 1985. It had a budget of $10 million, which is more than double the budget of the previous movie, and yet somehow it looks cheaper. And it made $36 million at the box office, came in at number 24 for the year at the domestic box office, made slightly less than St. Elmo's Fire, and slightly more than Commando.
Wow.
All right.
Commando's fun.
Yeah, Commando's a really fun movie. Better than this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Who's the daughter?
Isn't it Alyssa Milano?
Oh, it is Alyssa Milano. But who is the sexy black lady that he rescues at the mall?
Oh, that's one of the Henry crushes I had when I was a little
that's
kid.
That's a good one. Rae Dawn Chong. Holy shit.
It's Tommy Chong's daughter.
What?
I'm dead serious.
That's not real.
I think it is. I'm not
fucking with you. Off. In the 80s, they were like contemporaries.
Check it out.
There's no way.
Chong. Check it out.
You're really standing by this? That she's Tommy Chong's daughter?
Next 15 seconds, I'm standing by it. After that, the elapsed time will say I changed my mind. 15 seconds.
All right. I can't find her dad. All right.
Oh, just look her up.
According to our IMDb page, she discovered Chris Pratt while he was a waiter at a restaurant in Hawaii. How about that?
It's fucking really weird.
She's fucking Tommy Chong's daughter. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought they were the same age.
No.
Rae Dawn Chong was born in 1961. I mean, when was Tommy Chong born? 1958? He was 3.
No, those fucking Cheech and Chong guys are probably born in like 1950 or something.
1938.
Yeah.
They were fucking 40 when Up in Smoke came out.
What did you think they were in their 20s?
They were like fucking 24.
No, I never thought that. They always looked old to me.
Yeah, but I always thought they looked old because they were weird druggies.
That's right on Chong.
God damn, Tommy.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Apologies accepted.
I do apologize. That is a ridiculous thing.
I don't really know why I know that. It's probably just because I have a crush on her, and I did since I was a little kid. She's also in the Michael Keaton movie The Squeeze. And
yeah, that's that movie where he's 9/11ing the Twin Towers on the cover.
Or they're 9/11ing him.
No, he's squeezing them in the palm of his hand.
No. They're squeezing him, and he can't get out.
No.
Yes. You want to challenge me again?
No, I don't. I'm sure you're right about this one.
He's looking it up anyway. He's got to see it for his own two eyes.
Bro.
Oh,
how about this? We're both right. Amazing. He's squeezed in the middle there, but look, there's a hand squeezing the towers around him.
Oh, there's a hand. Okay. I didn't remember the hand squeezing. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Great stuff.
So Keaton did it before Bin Laden.
All right. Mm-hmm. Right on Chong.
About 15 years earlier.
Right on Chong.
All right. So this movie was nominated for some awards. You want to talk about them?
I think that's part of the show. Sure.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. It's mostly Saturn Awards like the last one, but it was nominated for one Golden Globe Award.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It's the GGs, the Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press, mostly French.
Yeah, they nominated the first song from the opening of the movie, Tina Turner. I frankly preferred the closing song where she says the word Thunderdome more.
Agreed.
But the first song was nominated. It lost to Lionel Richie's Say You, Say Me from the White Nights soundtrack.
Well, I'm sorry that it was attached to White Nights, but that is a better song.
My friend Gallagher, after we did our top 25 score and soundtrack list, put his own together, and White Nights was on the list.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. I've got it right here. It was number 13.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about the Saturn Awards.
Yeah. Oh, we're playing it again, huh?
Oh, we don't. Oh, well, it's a new episode.
Yeah. Right. I meant it's been a while, so we should play it again. Yeah.
All right, this movie was nominated for the best science fiction film of its year.
85. Okay.
You want to guess who it lost to?
Weird Science.
No,
Back to the Future.
There you go. Yeah, Back to the Future.
Okay, I was going to say. Yeah.
All right.
No way.
George Miller lost the Best Director trophy to Mr. Ronathan Howard for Cocoon.
Okay, that's silly. I think Zemeckis should have probably gotten it.
Not Best Writing. Best Writing. Hey, Bob Gale as well. Give him some credit.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
2 bops.
Yeah. All right. Best Writing they were nominated and they lost to Tom Holland for writing the original Fright Night. That's a killer script. I actually love that choice from the Saturday Night.
Unseen by Me.
We'll cover it. There's a sequel and a remake.
That's Roddy McDowell, is it not?
It certainly is. He is all over that thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Nominated also for Best Costumes, and they lost to the Richard Donner film Lady Hawk.
That's Michelle Pfeiffer, is
yes,
it not?
Michelle Pfeiffer, my old friend.
Whenever I haven't seen a movie, but want to show that I still have some knowledge of the cinematic sphere, I like to just say an actor that I'm pretty sure is associated with.
No,
said
Henry,
film.
I do the same thing. I have also not seen Lady Hawk, and that's why I referred to it as Richard Donner's Lady Hawk.
Now, is this because both of us have a tendency to just want to show that, hey, I haven't seen it, but look how knowledgeable I am?
Yes, I think our egos will not let us simply not know about something.
I can't just have you say Fright Night and just have no comment.
No, then you have to prove that you know the bare minimum about Fright Night. Oh, boy. All right.
To clear up the air. Clear the air for myself, really, to help my own Freudian inward psychoanalysis.
Well, I'll tell you what's not clear is the air in the Mad Max universe.
Oh,
there's a lot of nuclear fallout.
Yeah, nuclear, though.
What is that?
Nuclear, so it's clear in that way.
Oh,
it's
God.
Nuclear.
What is happening?
I was going to say like a Bush. How did Bush say nuclear?
Nuclear. Well, that's how a lot of people said it around that period.
The smart folk.
All right, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So it starts with a great song, obviously. That's the first thing we need to know. Then we get another classic previously on Mad Max. Of course, we didn't put the work in like we did last time, so we're literally just reminding you what happened in the previous two movies. Now, Max is, what is he, like, robbed at the beginning of this movie?
Yeah, he's on like a bunch of camels. He's like an old traveler. Doesn't have a car now.
Now, I noticed camels are still around in the post-apocalypse.
They survive.
They, of course, carry water in their humps.
Correct.
Where are they getting that water?
Self-regeneration.
And why don't the settlers simply cut open camel humps for sustenance?
They need the camels for travel, so they cannot injure the camels.
It seems like water would be more important than travel. I don't understand why no one in these movies is just staying in one place. Everyone is just on a constant race around the globe.
That is a point I cannot argue with. Yeah. One thing in this movie, among many, that is not truly ever explained, does the Gyro captain know that the man in the beginning of the movie he's robbing is his friend, Mad Maxwell?
Was that the Gyro captain? Because I don't think so.
Oh boy. Yes, it is. With his now son flying a plane.
No.
Same actor, same character.
I don't believe it's supposed to be the same character.
If it's the same actor and not the same character,
he's credited in this movie as Jedediah.
Right. I believe he's Jedediah in the first movie.
He's just credited as Gyro Captain. Gyro.
It's the same guy.
I know it's the same guy, but he just did not strike me as that character.
He's a pilot.
All right. But why does he have a son now? And why didn't he recognize Max?
He probably slept with that blonde that he had a crush on in The Road Warrior.
You mean the one woman in that gang?
No, there's a few women, and the coolest woman, I looked her up because I was like, she's very sexy, but the warrior woman, what happened to her career?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, maybe because they didn't even bother to name her fucking character.
She's a warrior woman in The Road Warrior.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm reading it. Okay, clarification here. This is really stupid. Listen to this. All right, I'm sure you didn't read this either. Okay, in the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome character list here, Bruce Spence as Jedediah the pilot, a marauding pilot who trades stolen goods in Bartertown. Spence previously played the gyro captain in Mad Max 2. Quote, this is from Bruce Spence. They were well into the shoot when they offered me a part described as, in quote, what do you call it? What quote within a quote? How do you say that out loud?
I don't care.
Okay. I don't care. Not the gyro captain, but kind of like the gyro captain, said Spence. They said there's kind of a reflection of him in that they were having difficulty casting the role, so they thought to themselves, why not Bruce? You were right, Daniel, but wow. Okay. You can understand why I made that error.
What they did was they created a new character and then had trouble casting it because the character was so utterly identical to a character they had already created in the previous movies. So then they were just like, let's get that guy.
It affected my entire viewing of the movie because I was thinking, why is he being such a prick to Mad Max?
And he's the fucking second character we see in the entire movie. Like, if you're gonna show us two characters from the last movie at the beginning of this movie, you have to have them interact about the last movie.
Okay, I did not know that till now, ladies and gents. I just thought this was the same character who had moved on to another adventure, even though he was the leader of the gang at the end of Road Warrior. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Totally different character.
All right, so after this, Mad Max goes over to the Mos Eisley spaceport on Tatooine and tries to barter.
Wants his power converters back. Not happening unless he meets with Anti-Entity.
Did you sense that at all, Henry? That this movie was just Star Wars?
You know, weirdly, that didn't occur to me. And now, of course, that you're saying it, that Bartertown thing kind of is just like a place where a bunch of scumbags get together, right?
We're at a point where, like, every extra character we see, like every character in the background, every character who has one line, just looks like a kooky space alien.
All human, but...
Yeah, I mean, they're all humans, but they're just like, hey, look at that guy. He's got a thing sticking out of his thing. And, you know, like that's
Iron Rod, played by the Australian superstar singer Angry Anderson. The only reason I know that is because he was in a band with Phil Rudd before Phil left him to go join a sputtering act called AC/DC.
Why haven't they brought Kylie Minogue into the Mad Max universe yet?
Was too busy in another universe with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
What Jean-Claude Van Damme movie was she in?
We've had this exact conversation at least 3 weeks ago. Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, right. She was Cammy. All right. Sorry.
Having Angry Anderson in the movie, I think, to Australians was like the equivalent of us seeing Tina Turner in there.
All right, so Mad Max meets up with this green guy. It's unclear who shoots first, but what
about what I'm saying? I love when Dan so clearly doesn't give a shit about the point I'm making. He's just like, yeah. So anyway,
were you making a point? What was the point?
Doesn't make any difference.
Remind me. Tell me the point.
No,
did I cut you off?
You didn't care. I understand. I sometimes don't care what you're saying. I was just pointing out that they had a big musical star in their homeland that was about as big as probably Tina Turner is to us.
Are you still talking about AC/DC?
No, Angry Anderson.
Oh, fuck God, Jesus Christ, Angry Anderson.
Big deal over there in the band.
No,
Rose
he's
Tattoo.
not.
He is. Rose Tattoo is a big band.
Rose Tattoo is a big band.
Australia.
How would you know that, Henry? Have you ever stepped foot in Australia?
Oh, I have to visit a country to know if a band is big there now.
What is the name of this band? Golden Tattoo?
Golden Shower.
No, what is it really? What is it really?
Rose Tattoo.
Rose Tattoo. Okay.
Tattoo.
I'm looking them up right now. First of all, I type in Rose Tattoo into Google. Nothing comes up. Not a single thing. Now, the first thing that came up is a song called Rose Tattoo by the Dropkick Murphys, which, actually, the Dropkick Murphys, are they? Yes, they were a big band. And then we get a list of tattoo parlors near me so that I can get a rose tattoo. And then finally, all the way at the end of the page, here's Angry Anderson's band. Come on, man.
What do you want me to say?
What do you like, Bad Boy for Love? That's one of their songs.
I didn't say I liked them.
Rock and Roll Outlaw.
Not interested. I've heard of that song.
They were together from 1976 to 1987.
Yeah. The only reason, as you know, I would know any of that is the AC/DC Association.
Well, I know that, but I wonder whether you think they're a bigger band than they are because they have an association with AC/DC, who in your brain is the biggest band ever.
Well, they are, but no, that isn't. And even in the Letterboxd reviews, somebody mentioned fucking Angry Anderson making an appearance. So he's like a known quantity, apparently. Now, not to you, which makes it irrelevant, but to other people who listen to the show.
If you've heard of Angry Anderson, email me at thefranchisepod@gmail.com. I expect under 10 emails. All right.
That's enough. How many fans do you think we have in Australia?
Well, they have to just be in Australia? I thought you didn't have to set foot in a country to know about it.
I said they were only big in Australia. I didn't say they ever reached international fame.
I hate you. All right, what happens next? Fucking Aretha Franklin? I mean, Tina Turner.
Yeah. Oh my God. So Patti LaBelle is
so anyway, Gloria Gaynor is up on set.
No, Donna Summer is running this place. It runs on pig shit. Creates methane by Master Blaster. Master's the brains, Blaster's the Down syndrome assistant who's the muscle. Correct?
Yeah. Master Blaster. How did we feel about Master Blaster?
I think it's fine. It's cool.
So they're kind of the main villain in this.
Yeah, well, it's a weird movie. I mean, that's an odd adjective, I know, because it's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I don't really know who the main villain in this movie is.
There's not a lot of focus.
Yeah, because Entity doesn't truly seem to be all bad, but she kind of is. In Master, it kind of turns out to maybe not be all that bad. Blaster has got Down syndrome and doesn't know what he's doing, so he's not.
He has Down syndrome?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't see it as Down syndrome.
You can see it any way you want, but it's even in the plot description.
All right, well, whatever. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just saw him as being like a mentally impaired dwarf.
Blaster, I'm talking about, not Master. Master's just a dwarf.
Oh, I was getting them mixed up. Okay, so Blaster, he has Down syndrome?
Yeah, he takes his helmet off.
I thought he was just like a big fat guy.
No, he takes his helmet off, he knocks it off, and it's like a guy with Down syndrome.
I don't know. All right, I mean, sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so whatever. He fights those fuckers in the Thunderdome.
That's a cool scene.
That's the good part of the movie.
That's a very cool scene. I didn't mind. I liked, first of all, I'm just going to say right off the bat, I always thought that this movie obviously I thought it was the worst of the Mad Max 4 quadrilogy, and I wasn't wrong. It is.
By a lot.
Yes, by a lot. Agreed. But it's not a total piece of shit. It was entertaining. I found basically the first hour entertaining, and then we get into some shaky ground.
45 for me. Okay.
Well, we get into some shaky ground when we exile Max into the desert, and he is found by Lord of the Flies clan.
Leaving Mad Max in the desert is more torture for the viewer than it is for Max.
It's very strange. I mean, I don't know what we were trying to do here.
I don't know. It's so boring. It goes on forever. It's not interesting.
Yeah, it's very odd. He's basically mistaken for a captain who flew an airplane, and then all the survivors' kids.
He rescues the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
They rescue him, and then he has to tell them They want to go find this barter town. He tells them it's the only place to go. It's very, very odd. Yeah.
It felt like a fucking Spielberg movie.
Yeah, it did kind of get Spielbergy.
Yeah. It's like the fucking Goonies, or it really reminded me a lot of Hook. Like I thought like Mad Max was just like Robin Williams in Hook.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
It's so dumb that I don't really have that much. I mean, what else happens? I mean, at one point, and the big chase is when Anti-Entity's people are trying to get back Master, right? They free Master from his chains because he's basically condemned by Anti-Entity to continue running the methane pig thing, and one of the prisoners is the one who saves Max's life by sending a monkey into the desert with a canteen of water, and that's what brings Max like sort of back to life. And so then they come back there, and then it's Max, the prisoner, Master, and all the kids running away from Anti-Entity's forces, and eventually gets them loaded onto a plane that is then piloted by the non-Gyro captain.
Jedediah.
Correct. And Max makes sure they get out.
I'm like zoning out just listening to you describe this. It sucks, this movie.
I'm just trying to do a plot summary. I understand totally. Sorry.
It's all right.
Help, but that's what's going on, right? And then Max gets out of it, and he's all right.
What were you talking about, though? What was he doing? I feel like I had something. I had one thought before you got on Jedediah. Oh, I have a logistical question about the end of the world.
Sure,
Henry. No, this isn't a bit. I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
If the world ended like this and we were all in like the post-apocalypse, would we care that much about gas? Like, would we be all like obsessed with getting more gas?
I think so. Americans would. I can't speak to other countries because I've only stepped foot in three other countries.
But why? To drive?
Yes.
But why don't you just not drive?
My friend, when Hurricane Sandy hit here and I was living in Brooklyn, in Bushwick for a few months, there were fistfights at the BP station. The gas lines were so big right across the street from where I lived in Bushwick because it was flooded and the gas was being consumed. I guess people wanted their fucking gas. That was during a 3-day spell for New York.
Okay, but this is where there's no gas stations. Like, we're in the post-apocalypse. Gas is being hoarded, and like you have to like really go on like missions to go find it. Would people just be doing, like, normal people would be like, all right, I gotta venture forth to find more gas?
I think they would. I'm so sorry to say that because it really displays a total lack of faith in humanity. But in the same way that when COVID hit, people were stealing and fucking hoarding toilet paper and shit like that last year.
They were stealing gas, too. I remember them putting it in plastic bags.
Okay, there you go. And yeah, I mean, honestly, humanity is selfish, and they want to be able to be mobile.
But why gas? I feel like if the world ended, there would be a lot of things I would be really concerned about not existing anymore. I'd be like, what the fuck? Who's gonna make pesto? I gotta make my own pesto now.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed, you know. So you're right, though. I don't drive, but like, I survive.
I just mean,
But, like, I have a life. Right. Like, I exist in the world without driving, and it's possible. So, like, why would everyone be freaking out about gas so much? Like, go live your life. There should still be cities. Why is everyone in the desert?
I think it's also, like, oil, too, right? The things that power everything. So, I guess they'd want power. I don't know. But I can tell you that there's been gas wars fighting at gas stations throughout our 10-year.
I think I'd thrive. I think I'd thrive in the Mad Max world. I I would find a place where there's water,
Well, if you're lucky, sure.
All right, so say I don't. Say I don't find a place where there's water.
Okay.
I would stay in a city. I'd loot as much as I could at the beginning. And then I would just settle in and read. I'd be like the guy from that Twilight Zone episode.
I totally, Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, I'd be, all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what broke your glasses, like the guy in the episode?
I can't see distances. I'd be fine if I broke my glasses.
Oh, you can read without your glasses. Oh, you're set. You're golden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily feel like I needed to drive anywhere either, but I'm like you. I would probably just try to get the essentials to sustain life, and then I think I'd be all right.
Yeah, like, once there's nothing going on in the world, why then choose to become, like, an action hero? No. Like, settle down. Why are you so fucking mad, Max? Easy, buddy. Mad.
Well, he has a lot of anger issues.
Yeah, because he won't calm down for a fucking second and mourn his wife. Like, his wife died, and he was just like, let me go on a mission for oil.
Yeah. I meant Mel Gibson.
Oh, well, he needs to calm down, too.
A lot of anger issues and substance problems.
For sure. All right, what do you give this one?
Well, you're going to laugh because you almost talked me down, but I think it was surprisingly entertaining enough for me personally, so I'm giving it 3.
No, it's fine. I used to have this as a 3. When I watched this as a kid, I probably thought it was a 3. It's a 2.
I get it.
Mm-hmm. Who's your MVP?
Tina Turner.
Yeah, same here. Who's your
good. I actually think she's a good villain.
I think the performance is iffy, but it doesn't matter because she's got that presence. She's fucking Tina Turner, and at least one of the songs fucking rules. Yeah.
The LVP for me is the kids.
And for me, it's of course Mel Gibson.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, Mad Max. Beyond Thunderdome's an interesting title. I wish it was just called Mad Max Thunderdome because everything beyond that was terrible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But
give me a cut of this movie called Mad Max Thunderdome with just the 15 minutes we're in the Thunderdome. Then it's a 4.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, you liked that build-up. You liked the first 40 minutes. You thought it was competently made.
Yeah, I was pretty into it at first.
Yeah, I mean,
and then it was just like, what the fuck? I gotta sit. I literally, I fell asleep on this movie last night, and then put it back on this morning, and like had a tough time sitting through it.
Yeah. I watched 3 of these in one day.
I saw that. All right, you want to get into Fury Road?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a movie. Let's talk about it. Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller's back. This was a huge deal. Mad Max 4 was sort of in the conversation for a long time. I remember as a kid, I used to read Cinema Fantastique. Have you ever heard of that magazine?
I think so. So I can't claim that I've read it. No.
That was a magazine that like catered towards nerds. Like I bet like a lot of the Saturn voters wrote for that magazine.
Sure, absolutely.
But they would always give updates on like big sequels that were like in development and shit. And like the updates were always like minuscule nothing things. But it was like, here's what's going on with Indiana Jones 5 or Indiana Jones 4 it was at the time was the exciting
They had no information, but they would get you excited anyway.
Right. So I remember there being articles sometimes about Mad Max 4 and they'd just give you information like they still want to do it. Like, all right.
Yeah. I remember hearing stuff about it in the 90s and then the aughts, yeah.
98 was sort of when it became a possibility. That's when, like, George Miller decided to, like, hunker down and actually work on that script. I guess right after he made Babe Pig in the City.
Okay.
So he had it set to start filming in 2001. And then 9/11 happened and postponed it. And then they were going to shoot like in the Middle East and they were going to start in like 2003 and then the war in Iraq happened and it got postponed again.
Jesus Christ.
Then they were considering an animated movie for a while. Like, he had the script, and they were thinking about doing it animated because he was working on the Happy Feet, and that was going well.
Oh, that's why he decided to go for an animated
I
version?
think he was like, he had his head in that animation world at that
it
point.
never occurred to me. Okay, yeah.
And then Heath Ledger was being considered for a live-action version for a while, and then he died. Boy, this movie had a lot of obstacles.
Yes.
And then finally, Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron signed on in 2010. That actually surprised me to read that, like 5 years before the movie came out. Yeah.
To me. And it shocked me when they finished rapping.
When did they finish rapping?
Fucking December 2012.
Really? I didn't read that.
Yeah.
Well,
they did some reshoots the following year.
Oh, yeah.
But
I actually remember the reshoots because the rumor behind the reshoots, as it always is, was the movie's a mess and it's going to suck.
Oh.
And then, of course, the movie came out and it was like, oh, so he did stuff and just wanted to make it perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So this finally comes out to us May 14th, 2015 on an enormous fucking budget compared to the $10 million that the third one cost of $185.1 million.
Sure, well, it's 30 years later, too.
Yeah. It ends up quite a hit, makes 375.6 at the box office. That is good enough for number 21 in America between The Rock's San Andreas and previously covered Mel Gibson film. Oh, no, he's not in the first one. Fucking Daddy's Home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So this movie was very much embraced by the awards season that year, if you'll recall. I actually won a lot of money off of this movie because I banked on it winning a lot of like technical Oscar categories.
Oh, wow.
And it did.
Good for you.
Yeah. So let's hear that Oscars theme.
All right.
Oscars, it's the red carpet, it's the red carpet and the gowns and the tuxes. The Oscars, it's the big night for Hollywood, the red carpet and the golden man.
Great. This movie won Best Editing, Best Costumes, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Production Design.
All fair.
Yeah, I mean, wow, though. Like,
yeah, I know.
This is a big, dumb franchise movie. And for them to acknowledge that, like, yes, it really did look that cool, like, good for them. And sound that cool.
It is odd. I mean, and there's not even, like, somebody in there who I can, like, latch on to be like, oh, well, they favor so-and-so. But, I mean, who?
Well,
Charlie?
You know what happened? Yeah, I really think that, like, Oscar voters loved this movie so much, but they had to, like, convince themselves that it meant something more than it was. So I remember around the time Mad Max Fury Road came out, you'd get a lot of, like, these big think pieces on different internet sites about, like, the use of feminism in the film. Yeah, it was a lot of that. And to that, I have to say, no, this movie's very stupid, and all of that is bullshit. All right? Yes, this is a really fun movie, one of the most fun movies of our time. But, I'm sorry, they put, like, 6 sexy ladies in the movie, and that's feminism?
And Charlize Theron has equal screen time with Tom Hardy.
Well, she does.
Feminism?
Yeah. I know, yeah. Like, she's got she's got a crew cut, Henry, so that's feminism.
Dude, I read also that it was saying that it was lauded for bringing to light people with disabilities and showing them in a good light. And I was like,
who?
Because she has a mechanical arm?
What?
Read it. I read it. They were approving that. So I think they're stretching. Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right, there's a
dwarf in it or something. I don't know.
No, there's dwarfs in all these movies. George Miller's clearly very amused by dwarves. It's like Vince McMahon that way. All right. All right. It lost some awards as well. Nominated for Best Picture, but lost to Spotlight. It was the Spotlight year.
It's better than Spotlight.
Yeah, I agree with that. Nominated for Best Director, and it lost to Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for The Revenant.
That's fair.
No, this is better, much better.
Obvious.
I will say The Revenant. One thing The Revenant has for it is as dumb as this movie. Yeah, but much more boring.
Okay.
Nominated for Best Cinematography, but it lost to Emmanuel Lubezki for The Revenant. And nominated for Visual Effects, but it was one of those years the Oscars decided to give it to a smaller movie, so they went with Ex Machina.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
was pretty excited about that at the time.
Well, I fucking love that movie. 5 stars, I own it. But wow, okay,
So that was the Oscars. We also have some Golden Globes nominations.
okay, all right. Let's get over there. In a real hurry. We'll go to the other pavilion.
It's the GG.
The Dorothy Chandler one.
Golden Globes. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press, mostly French.
Yeah, it was nominated for Best Drama and lost to The Revenant. Nominated for Best Director, lost to The Revenant. Now, it was nominated for some BAFTAs.
Holy God! Wow, where have they been? So now we have to go across the pond. Here we go.
The British Academy of Film, Television, and Arts. BAFTA.
Yeah, they didn't go as crazy for it as some of the other shows, but they did nominate for cinematography, and it lost to The Revenant. Lost sound to The Revenant. Nominated for Best Visual Effects, it lost to Star Wars The Force Awakens. It did win some awards. It won Best Production Design, Best Editing, Makeup, and Hair and Costumes. So you're going to see a lot of that, like the technical categories.
Yeah.
And then we have the Saturn Awards, who also liked it.
We played that already on this episode.
Oh, okay. Then
didn't we? For
yeah, I
Thunderdome?
think so. Nominated for the Best Science Fiction Film of the Year, but man, the Saturn Awards, they love Star Wars.
Yeah.
They love it. And so Force Awakens won.
Even the shitty ones. Yeah.
That's a good one. But they nominated George Miller for Best Director, and he lost to your friend Ridley Scott for The Martian.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Saturn Awards, I don't think it won any. And
that's insane.
yeah, it's weird.
That's fucking insane.
Nominated for Best Writing, which I don't get, but it won for a movie with not that great it lost to a movie with not that great a script either, Star Wars Force Awakens. Lost editing to Star Wars, which is intensely stupid. Lost production design to Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak.
Oh, boy.
Lost makeup to Star Wars. Lost visual effects to Star Wars. I guess they really liked that stupid Lupita Nyong'o character. Mm-hmm. Charlize Theron did win Best Actress.
Oh, we threw a woman something.
We threw her the best. For once, a woman won Best Actress.
At the Saturns. That's kind of astonishing. I don't picture
Best
that. A lot
actress,
of women are there.
Actress.
I don't. Yeah.
I believe a woman wins that every year.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired at this point, guys. We're on a double header here. I'm kind of fading. Yeah.
All right. How about the MTV Awards?
Oh, God. All right. Let me cue that up.
Let me cue that one up.
I want my... Sorry, that was a first take recording. I hit the wrong one. Mm-hmm. The clean one. I want my MTV.
right? That's the MTV theme, Giggly Edition. Charlize Theron won the Golden Popcorn Trophy for the best female performance of the year. She fought Tom Hardy at one point in this movie, and they were nominated for Best Fight, but they lost to something in fucking Deadpool. Best Villain nominated was that fucking guy, that weirdo. Big weirdo.
Morton Joe. Yeah.
What's his name?
Morton Joe.
Yeah, that guy. He lost to Adam Driver for Star Wars. Kylo Ren. It's
Mo Darth.
It's me, Kylo Ren!
That's not bad.
Thank you. I'm angry. I'm gonna break stuff. All right.
Very brooding.
And topless. All right. Charlize Theron nominated for Best Hero. I guess that's a thing they do now. And she lost to Jennifer Lawrence for The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2. All right, finally, one more awards show decided to recognize Mad Max Fury Road. That's right, the teens!
Oh my, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious, it's the teens. Oh, here they are.
It's the teen choice award.
All right, now they were nominated for Best Science Fiction Film. They lost to Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
I like that. Yeah.
They're both bad. And then Nicholas Hoult, who's in this movie from Skins, and he's the little boy from About a Boy, and he played Beast in the X-Men.
I know that.
Yeah. Well, you're Hank Beast.
Right.
He was nominated for Best Scene Stealer. All right, stole some scenes.
I like that category.
All right, but it is a neat category in theory until you find out who won this category.
Uh-oh.
When you think of scene stealing, do you think of Chris Evans in the Avengers Age of Ultron?
No. He's in the movies, the star.
He's Captain America. I'm sorry, Captain America in the Avengers is not a scene stealer.
No, that's not really what I had in mind at all, the lead character.
Yeah, maybe if you want to put James Spader in the Avengers Age of... Yeah.
Okay.
Linda Cardellini, am I right? Is that the one she's in? As Hawkeye's wife?
Yes. Yeah, it's her first, I think the first time I see her. You're right.
You think she'll be in the Hawkeye TV show this year?
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I love her.
Same here. I love her. All right. That's all the awards I have for you, Henry. Should we talk? All right, so the movie opens awesome, and I actually did remember this from watching it the first time. Like, it stuck with me. The fucking thing with the two-headed lizard. It's like an opening shot. And it's like a vista of the wasteland. And you're seeing Mad Max, now played by an effervescent young actor who is, as far as I know, has never wished any of me or my ancestors dead.
Or anyone else.
Yeah. I don't know for sure, but... by all accounts, seems like just a regular human being.
A decent guy.
Yeah, he has thoughts like a person does.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I know he is, and he's excellent in this movie. I mean, it's sort of...
See, that's interesting. I want to hear what
you don't need him. That's the problem. Is you don't need Tom Hardy. Like, this could be... I'm not saying, like, you can get, like, Josh Duhamel or some bullshit.
I know what you're saying.
But it can be... Like, if this was Chris Pine, like, that would be all right.
Yeah, but, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the character. He doesn't talk in any of the movies, really. I mean, there's not... But I think that because of that, to cast someone like Tom Hardy is important because he's got this big physical presence. He's got very distinct, I think, features. I
disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first saw Mad Max Fury Road, I was still at the point in my life where I could not recognize Tom Hardy in the movie.
Right. But I know what I thought you would amend was that I disagreed. But
Well, I still don't think he has the most striking features in the world, and he's somewhat of a chameleonic actor. And so it's not the kind of thing, like when Nicolas Cage is in a movie, Nicolas Cage brings the baggage of Nicolas Cage with him everywhere he goes. Tom Hardy doesn't really have that for me. Like,
well, see, I totally understand that. And I think that why he does for me is because I've actually, sought out other things that he's been in, and like 3 that come to mind, even though Bronson's not a great example because he doesn't look like himself in that, but like in smaller movies like The Drop, which I love, and he's just a totally normal Joe, and Locke, which
but he's still chameleon-y. I thought about Locke too, and like in Locke he's playing like a relatively regular guy. He's a fucking builder in England.
Yeah, he doesn't have an accent.
What?
He doesn't have like an accented thing. He's just talking.
Oh yeah. He's like has a regular, like a 9-to-5 job. Like he seems like a regular person. And right. I don't know, like to me he just always comes across slightly different, which is what you want. He's a good character actor, but I don't see him as a movie star because I don't think he has that presence.
Oh boy, I disagree with that.
He has an actorly presence. It's a different thing.
But I think the presence
that Philip Seymour Hoffman brings to a role is not the same as the presence Tom Cruise does.
Correct. They're 2 completely different type of things.
Okay, and I think Mel Gibson has the Cruise type, whereas Tom Hardy is not quite that.
That's an interesting comparison for sure. I mean, because I think presence is one of those things. It's fascinating to look at, but I mean, like, I don't particularly think in a movie like The Dark Knight Rises, anyone could have done Bane like that when you feel him.
Because that's a character role.
Right. What does that mean? He basically created it from nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what Tom Hardy is good at. What Tom Hardy can't do is step onto a set as Tom Hardy and be the star of that movie.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't feel that way. I feel he's got a charisma. I think
this movie would not work without Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron has a charisma that vastly supersedes Tom Hardy's charisma. And the second she shows up in the movie, she's the only character you want to watch.
Well, I don't agree she's the only character you want to watch, but she's the only character you are watching and you don't really mind. But at one point, I definitely thought there's a weirdness about that. It's kind of funny that Mad Max is even in it. He's really barely in the movie. I do think that
George Miller's interest here lies in revisiting the world that he created all those years ago. The fact that he doesn't feel any need to bring back Mel Gibson at all and clearly sees Mad Max as just being this sort of figurehead at the front of this franchise, like, that's not quite the same thing. Like, so we're back in the world. Mad Max is just there for continuity's sake.
Yeah, it's like telling. It's telling that he doesn't.
It's almost like Mad Max presents Furiosa.
Yeah, it very much is. And, that's what I've been reading about the spinoff they're trying to get done, right, with her in it.
Well, that's changed. That's changed, Henry. There's
I had the list on that. Okay.
There was the original plan, I think, was for a 5th Mad Max movie, and I think the original plan was to film it directly after this one, and it was going to be called Furiosa, and Charlize Theron was going to be the star. Now, what he's doing, because it's franchise mania, is he's working on 2 Mad Max projects simultaneously. One is called Mad Max The Wasteland, which is...
Oh, yeah, I did read this. Go ahead.
Okay, that's going to be the 5th Mad Max movie, and that's going to have Charlize Theron in it. Then there's going to be a different movie called Mad Max Furiosa, which is a prequel, and it's going to be the origin story of Furiosa, and Anya Taylor-Joy has signed on to play the young Furiosa in that.
I like that casting choice.
Oh, well,
that's
sure.
very cool.
Come on.
But now wait, you said I think you misspoke or you said Charlize Theron is in the 5th Mad Max movie as well.
I don't think she's in Furiosa. I think
that.
Furiosa is all Anya Taylor-Joy. I think Furiosa, the Charlize Theron version, is going to show up in the Wasteland one.
So where the fuck is Tom Hardy in any of this?
He's going to be in the Wasteland as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom Hardy is signed on for 3 more Mad Max movies. So, like...
It's not going to happen.
It's probably not going to happen, but they're definitely going to make at least one more.
Yeah, I mean, Miller's 70 years old, which for an artist... I was thinking about this last night when we were watching the movie. We watched it together on Skype. I was thinking about how in certain art forms, how age really doesn't matter. In some it does, but like I'm looking at this movie last night and I'm like, this man is 70 years old or was when it was being made. You can correct me on that by looking it up, but and he's literally, to me, at the height of his powers. I mean, this is like a tireless, incredible.
Yeah, it's as good and as original as anything he's ever done.
Oh, yeah, and, it just amazes me because some people get worse when they get older. The mind doesn't keep quite there.
He's only 3 years older than my dad.
What year was he born?
45.
Born in 1945, so he was 70 when he made this. Yeah, I mean... And it is very true that some people are unabated at all their talent by the age. I mean, I'm thinking of some other directors. I'm thinking of like classical music conductors. Some of them just like certain types of it doesn't really matter, but like it doesn't always take hold. But with I was particularly one of my point is I was particularly impressed because of how I imagine how grueling and inhumane this setting would be to be stuck in and directing all this time, and I'm just like, fucking Christ. And the detail in every shot in the 24 frames and not using the 24 frames and all that
Think
stuff.
about this, though. He came up with the idea for this movie apparently in 1998. He was like 55, which is like a much younger, more vital age, I think, stereotypically.
Yeah. Sure.
And so, like, he's been thinking about this movie for 15 years. Now it's time to make it. I would think, like, he's just so ready. Like, to just get the shit in his head out there.
I just think, and just, this is only the second time I've ever seen it. I saw it in theaters and didn't see it again.
I watched it when it first came out on Blu-ray or whatever, and I thought it was kind of stupid. Like, I liked it, but it was like, why is everyone going apeshit over it? And then, like, I wanted to watch it again when, like, the hype died down, and I was able to appreciate it much more.
You didn't see it in theaters?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, I loved it immediately when I saw it in theaters. I was blown away. But, like, this time on the viewing, there was just little things that were really reinforcing my appreciation for Miller. And it was just, like, every detail of, like, every fight, every chase, every like movement of any character has like some other purpose, and like when they're chained together, Nicholas Hoult and Tom Hardy, like, and Nicholas Holt's driving the car, like every little movement affects something else in the frame.
Yeah,
and it's like, who is thinking about all this detail? I mean, it's just it's genius.
The choreography is unbelievable. There are so many things on screen that like the first time or two I saw this movie, I was just like, well, that's just there to look badass. Like, that's silly.
Right.
And then like paying closer attention to it on this watch, the way like those things would then interact in the action sequences, like everything involves everything else. I'm thinking about like those guys on like the stilts that are like swaying back and forth. Like, that's just a cool visual. But then to see them like swaying above like the openings in the cars and like dropping bombs, and like, holy fuck. Like there is something next level about that. Like, the creativity involved. Yeah, the amount of action movies we watch every year. And, like, most action movies, you're not blown away by anything. Like, maybe it's telling you a good story. And, like, you probably have fun watching the action sequence and stuff. Right. But how often are you watching an action sequence where you're like, what the fuck is that?
Correct. Yeah, right. Totally right. Or maybe there's a scene where you're like, oh, yeah, I saw such and such the other day. 4 stars, but, really that scene.
I mean, think about the fucking Daredevil TV show. We talk about the fucking hallway fight from that one episode.
Well, I've reevaluated that show. There's way more in there than just that, but...
All right, there's the stairwell fight, too. But
no. I don't know if that's the best example, but, I mean, because but there's very inventive shit going on in that show.
I'm just saying, this movie's fucking... It's 2 hours long, which it should not be. It should be 1 hour and 40 minutes. And 1 hour and 40 minutes of this movie, you're just blown away. And then 20 minutes, you're a little bored.
I'm not bored at all. I mean, anyway, yeah. So, I mean, essentially, yeah, the opening is very cool. That was one of the only things I really remember.
I didn't even talk about it. The fucking 2-headed lizard. That's what I wanted to bring up.
6 years since I saw it, and when he came on screen, the little guy, I just remembered, oh, he eats that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I didn't remember he had a beard or anything like that. I didn't remember any of that shit.
That shot is so good. That opening shot of this movie. Yes. I mean, he must have had that for years. Like, he knew that was the goods. And, like, that shot, you see him from behind looking out at the vista of the wasteland, that he steps on that fucking 2-headed lizard and eats it. It squiggles in his mouth and shit. It rules. Like, you're watching this movie, you're like, yes, I'm ready to watch a fucking Mad Max movie. And I don't have to deal with Mel Gibson. Bring it.
Yeah. No, it's really from the get-go. I mean, he gets
from the get-go.
From the get-go. The funny thing, too, is it gives you what I like, too. Actually, when I think about it, they do it in the beginning of The Road Warrior, whereas they give you some reasons for Mad Max's behavior and his motives.
Why he's so mad.
What?
Why he's so mad.
Yeah, but like in like these almost subliminal frames of memories, and they never say if it's his daughter or wife or best friend like that. But I took it as it doesn't. First of all, it doesn't really.
I think it's just all the people. Like, it's cumulative. Yeah. He's experienced so much death and heartache in this time in the apocalypse. And he just lives with that at all times. And he almost, like, relates to Furiosa later on. Like, Furiosa, like, he hears him out about that a bit and is basically like, yeah, I got that. I feel that, too.
Yes,
I feel guilt constantly from everybody I've seen die.
But she's able to, like, move on and try to do something good out of it. And he's just wandering around.
But she's also much more desperate. Like, at the beginning of the movie, she's working for that Joe weirdo. And, like, she's trying to escape with the 5 wives of him and shit. And, Mad Max, when we start off this movie, is sort of aimless.
Not told what he's doing at all.
I think he's just wandering.
Because he's just kidnapped immediately by the war boys.
Yeah, the war boys.
To be used as a blood bag.
Yeah, Nux. That's Nicholas Hoult from X-Men and shit. He's really good young actor. I hope he has a big career.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Yeah, and of course we get to they bring him back. They're like giving blood to war boys who are, for some reason, short on blood. I guess from getting injured so much, and so they have these, like, it's horrific.
Well, they're very dehydrated.
Very true. Why not saline?
I don't think they see the sun much either. They're the Morlocks from the Time Machine. You know what I'm talking about?
They're painted that way, though. That's not their skin color.
They're painted that way? No.
You think because how could they possibly be that pale? They're outside enough.
Hear me out. Over the course of the movie, that fades. Now, you're saying that was paint fading over the course of time? Because I saw it as he's out in the sun now. He's getting color.
Very interesting. You could be right. I could be right. I really don't know. I always thought it was just part of, like, war paint to like because they do it to the kids too, right? The war pups, the little kids who are running around. I didn't think, but you could be right. Like, do you think they're like just stuck in that cave working?
Yeah,
their lives
that's right. I think they like live in a mine or something.
Yeah, you could completely be right. I just didn't. I mean, living in a desert, I thought I didn't even occur to me because Immortan Joe has the same skin color, and I figured that.
I don't know what's going on with that Joe. Well, you don't want to read too much into any of this shit because so much of Mad Max is just because it looks cool.
Very true.
Yeah.
Immortan Joe's clearly got, what is he, like a General Grievous thing going on there, a Bane thing going on.
Yeah, he's an albino guy with a ventilator, just like Darth Vader.
Right. Take your pick.
Yeah.
He's horrifying.
He's a great visual, man.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
He looks like something out of, I don't know, Dark City or something.
Well, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, the other guys are scary too in the other movies. I mean, Humongous in particular, but this guy's like next level terrifying.
Well, this felt to me like another pass at Humongous.
Yes, I agree. Even with the amplification of the voice. And
yeah. I think so much of Mad Max is about him like trying to perfect the version of Mad Max that he has in his head or something.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Which is even more amazing too. Like,
even more amazing.
I know I keep praising Miller, but he deserves it,
Does he?
In that. Yeah.
I have issues with George Miller. Just because like he only made fucking this, Happy Feet and Babe.
I don't really care because I think that, he could. What I was going to say specifically was with this movie, regarding this movie, is that he didn't go a route that a lot of filmmakers who take like a fuck ton of time off, aka George Lucas or whoever, he didn't go the route where like, now I can do everything I wanted to do because CGI exists.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. You got to give him credit for that. You're right.
Credit. I mean, I don't know who else is even in that category with him.
Nobody. Everyone's obsessed with technology now.
I mean, I'm trying to think. There's got to be another action director who's just decided to still do real stunts, but I can't, off the top of my head, think of it. But
I don't think so, man. They all get pulled. Like James Gunn used to use a lot of practical effects. But now he makes $300 million movies for Marvel, so like he can't.
Yeah, maybe the guy who did John Wick. I don't know.
Stahelski.
Is that his name? Oh yeah,
Chad Stahelski. He's a real Chad. By the way, George Miller also directed Witches of Eastwick. You gotta give him props for that.
Oh no, that's right.
That's a cool movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Well, essentially, the movie's just like a whole chase. I did pause it at one point because I wanted to know how long fucking Tom Hardy's Oop, Dan's eyes just got real big. Did he just learn something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He has an upcoming movie that's not a Mad Max movie, and I just looked up. It's called 3,000 Years of Longing. Apparently, Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton are attached to it, but listen to this premise, Henry. A scholar, content with life, encounters a djinn who offers her 3 wishes. Wishes. In exchange for his freedom. What I'm telling you is George Miller's making a Wishmaster movie.
No, he is not.
No, it's not technically, but it's a movie about a djinn.
Oh, Georgie boy.
I'm excited.
What are you doing? What are you doing, man? How fucking weird will that be? It's George Miller with Tilda Swinton.
I'm fucking pumped, dude. You think Tilda Swinton, she might be playing the djinn.
Oh, probably. She's amorphous.
Yeah, that would be baller. All right. What are we talking about? Fury Road?
Anyway, I paused it when Tom Hardy finally got his mask off. I wanted to see how long has he got that. It's exactly at the 45-minute mark. So we literally do not get to see because even when you see him, his face is.
I know, and it's so annoying. They keep saying like, "Let's cut it off," and then they just don't.
But then when they do, it's nice. But it's 45 minutes in the movie. But yeah. So basically, what is it? The whole thing is about getting those wives away. I mean, that's the entire.
It's wives versus crazy gang. That's the movie. And the wives, it's Charlize Theron. She's a warrior. She's Furiosa, and she's trying to get the wives of this crazy villain out of there. There's 5 of them. 3 of them are actors we've heard of. 2 of them are nobodies. There's Zoe Kravitz, of course, Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Another X-Men alumni.
That's true. Good point. Rosie Huntington Whiteley, who, of course, everyone remembers as the lady they replaced Megan Fox with in Transformers 3.
Okay.
We have Riley Keough. Now, she's an actress. I feel like
I know her.
She shows her boobs in indie movies.
I know her.
It's really all I know about her. Like, the one thing I remember that she was in was she's in the Stars TV version of The Girlfriend Experience.
Oh, I never watched that. I love the movie, but
yeah, I know. But like in my head, because of that, like I will always think of Riley Keough as like poor man's Sasha Grey.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Then there's an actress named Abby Lee, who I guess was in The Neon Demon, and then there's another one who's, you know, a lady. This might be, I think this is the Becky Lynch one, who I mentioned in the previous episode.
Yeah.
The WWE stole this character's whole steampunk look with the goggles and the red hair. All right.
Okay, that's the redhead. Okay.
Yeah.
The one who falls in love with Nicholas Hoult.
Yes, exactly. They fall in love. Now, they stole that for Becky Lynch. I'm going to try to find a picture of her look and tell me this isn't just the identical human being.
Boy, George Miller could have a lot of lawsuits on his hands.
He really could. Look at this wrestler.
Back a bit. Oh, yeah, perfect. Let me see. Okay,
she's got the goggles on her head, you see?
Oh.
The red hair.
Black top.
Yeah, mm-hmm. The whole ensemble.
Oh.
Isn't
that interesting?
Absurd. They've backed off from it a little bit in recent years, but, you know, great wrestler, Becky Lynch. No, not talking shit, but it's a ripoff. All right. Anyway, what else we got? They're running away from the gang. The gang's also got a wrestler on the team. If I may.
Who is that guy? Rictus?
Rictus, yeah.
I figured he was a wrestler, but I don't remember who.
This dude was a wrestler in the mid-aughts. His name was Nathan Jones. I think that's his real name. And I remember his gimmick was that he'd show up on like Monday Night Raw, right? And they'd show like a clip of this dude in a mental institution. And it was Nathan Jones, and he's like, I'm getting out of the mental institution in a few weeks, and I'm going to come ride roughshod over the WWE. It was like, that was his gimmick, was he's in a mental hospital, and he's getting released soon to wrestle.
Oh, he gets some day passes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Wow. What do you think of the fucking guitar player with the gnarled up fucking demon Dracula face?
I fucking hated that the first time I saw this movie. It was my least favorite part of the movie, and now it's like one of my favorite parts. It's so incongruous and so excessively stupid. Yep. And do you think you would like that job if you were in the apocalypse?
I mean, I can play guitar whilst moving. But if it was my assignment to be strapped to the hood of a car, I don't know if
that guy was fucking shredding, bro.
Yeah, he's just slamming chords. Yeah, it's got the double neck Jimmy Page thing going on there.
Yeah, dude, he looks like fucking Dave Mustaine. Maybe it is Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, it probably is. What else is he doing? Yeah,
he's in that Woodstock '99 documentary on HBO Max.
Fucking bet. Yeah, another visual I thought was really cool is when they get through the spooky area, the swampland, and you see those guys on like stilts trying to walk through it.
Yeah,
cool. And that used to be
the green. Yeah, place. That is so dumb. But I kind of love it too. I think it's self-aware on George Miller's part. Like, just calling like the sanctuary the green place. It's so stereotypical.
Well, I didn't remember at all was that we don't get there. There is no green place because it's become the swamp. And I kept thinking like, oh, I guess we're going to end with them getting there.
Yeah, I thought it was going to end like fucking Bird Box.
Yeah, and they turn around and go back, and I was like, right, because we were at the minute mark where I was like, surely there's another chase in store. Not that it was lacking, but I was like, there's another.
Well, it's lacking a little bit though. When we're like wasting time talking to like old ladies.
That stuff. You had to give Furiosa. That was for Furiosa to give her some origin.
Give me her origin. If you're making an origin movie, just give it to me there. The Mad Max movies are not there for you to care about the characters. I'm sorry. Any characterization we get comes across completely perfunctory to me.
I don't always agree with that. I still think you care for the protagonist, what happens. I mean, otherwise you have no investment.
I don't have any investment. I have zero investment in any of the Mad Max movies. I just watch them because they're cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm only going to watch this one.
Right.
You know, not even that often. Every few years. It's pop.
No, I'm going to watch this a lot.
Yeah? Okay.
The second viewing, I can't even believe I don't know why I didn't watch it again. I really don't. I loved it, but yeah.
You know what I can see? I can see this being a movie I'd put on and wouldn't feel the need to finish it. Which is kind of a good kind of movie to have, you know?
Sure. In your pocket. Yeah. Of course. I think this made my best of that year list, which obviously didn't make yours. But
yeah, it was on everybody's list that year. I think that this was on even, you know, Cahiers du Cinema?
I don't know.
I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's a French film.
Cahier?
Cahier, yes.
Yeah.
Cahiers du Cinema. And they put out their list of like the 10 best movies of the year every year, and you've only ever heard of like 2 of the movies on each list. Like they're always like the most obscure, the most foreign shit. And I remember, like, I think this might be the first movie we've ever covered that they had on their top 10 list.
That's awesome. By the way, speaking of that, it kind of shocked me to learn that Roger Ebert put Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome on his top 10.
I couldn't believe that. I saw that too. Did you read his review? He was like, really, he loved it.
I think I looked for it, but it said the page wasn't found because on RogerEbert.com sometimes they take down some of the old reviews.
Yeah. I only saw quotes from it on the Wikipedia page.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, I don't know. To each his own.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So this movie fucking rules. Everything looks cool and is cool.
It's great.
Yeah.
Stars.
What do you give it?
5.
You're going full 5. I'll stick with 4.
Really?
Yeah.
What takes it off of the 5 chart for you?
Because I didn't care. Like if I had any emotional investment in the stakes of the story, I'd give it a 5. But as it stands, like it is doing what it's doing perfectly, but shallowly.
Wow, interesting. Okay. My MVP is Charlize.
Ooh, I actually have to think about my LVP. I forgot.
I too. I couldn't really come up with one because there's so many cool characters. Even the tertiary ones are,
Okay, Charlize is the obvious MVP of this movie. But I'm going to go ahead and just give a shout out to the villain. Like Immortan Joe, played by that rando guy from the first one, is such a great, instantly iconic, perfectly scary looking villain. I mean, his motivations, the whole blood bag thing, just releasing like the little amounts of water at a time and having 5 wives that are trying to escape. Yeah. Like, there are so many evil things going on, you don't even know where to start. Like, I love that.
Hugh Keen's Burn. So your MVP is my MVP, same actor from the original Mad Max.
That's right. That's odd.
Yeah. LVP, I don't know. Probably a little easier for you. You didn't care for a lot of the the women part.
I think it would probably have to be like one of those lesser ladies, and in that case, I'm gonna go with this Abby Lee lady because the other three I've at least recognized, and the other one had a good moment with Nicholas Hoult. So yeah,
Abby Lee. Yeah,
she played a character named the Dag.
Right. I'll just go with that too.
Wow.
Because,
I gotta say, not a good performance. I did not get that she was playing David Alan Grier at all.
I never remember. I always forget that when we speak of David Alan Grier, between you and I, we always just referred to him as the Dag.
The Dag. Our old buddy, the Dag.
We talk about him a lot, in case you're wondering right now. We always talk about David Alan Grier.
I'm constantly talking about David Alan Grier and his stentorian voice and the fact that he was in the original Broadway production of A Soldier's Story and had a smaller role in the movie.
Boomerang.
The Dag. All right, hashtag the Dag. All right, Henry, rank the Mad Max movies.
Okay. I'll just go with my original. I was going to change it, but I'm not. Number 1, Road Warrior.
Yes.
Number 2, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
Number 3, Mad Max.
Yes.
Number 4, Thunderdome.
Yeah, I completely agree, with the caveat being, even though The Road Warrior is the best Mad Max movie, only ever watch Mad Max Fury Road.